Hello, everyone. I want to talk about how to rewire your brain. I'm recording this podcast without having done a script or an outline. I'm hoping that I can talk about this topic with you improv style and see how well I do. I'm testing myself. So, 2x me, by the way. I sound great at 2x, at least maybe for the first year or two. So, the way to rewire your brain, in my experience and from what I've read and put into practice, it's a slow process. It's an inch by inch, little by little process where you're going to see change over time. Think about when you lose weight. You know that when you're going to go onto a losing weight endeavor journey, that it's likely going to be somewhere between 6 and 9 months until you really see the change that you want, in my opinion. Again, and most of what I have experienced takes me about 6 to 9 months. And Dr. Becky Kennedy, who started the Good Inside company and who has really been at the forefront of this conscious parenting, respectful parenting, authoritative parenting, gentle parenting, all of that is gentle parenting. They say it's the 6 to 9 month period. Okay, so what are you doing in those 6 to 9 months? Well, some people think that it's about adding the new thoughts that you want, adding them by writing them down, looking at them, saying them out loud while whispering is another one, looking at them, reading them. That is one part of it. That is one way to build neural pathways from my understanding. I'm not a PhD or a master's in psychology. You also need to experience this new thought, this new thinking. It could be a pattern of thoughts. However, let's say your new thought is, I am safe. This is not an emergency. You have to be able to recall those words. So you need to say them a lot. If you're going to recall them, you need to say them a lot. You want them to be as subconscious as the thoughts you use to drive a car, which is you don't really have to even think about it. Wouldn't that be great? However, you need the feeling with this. You need the mind-body connection with this process. So you can say, this is not an emergency, I am safe. You can just say that over and over again. This is not an emergency, I am safe. 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 I have no feeling as I'm saying that because I'm not putting any feeling into it. I'm not actually connecting to the feeling of safety. That mantra is meant to provide me safety, which means I need to have that feeling of safety. And I'm getting a little trapped here. I guess I'm not totally sure why that happens. Okay, because I want the feeling of safety, right? Because I'm going to recall this sentence in some moment of panic. Maybe my child is yelling and I'm angry, or the deal is falling through and I'm blaming someone on my team, or my spouse isn't answering my calls and I'm angry. I need this mantra or a mantra like that to save me from that anger, to start to bring some calm and some peace, right? Just slow me down. And that comes from my recalling an experience in the same way that an experience triggers me, right? My child yelling triggers me to be angry. Some issue with a deal is causing me to be angry. It's overdone. That's a $5,000 reaction to a $5 moment is what I call it. So the same way you can get triggered, The same way you can get a glimmer is what I've heard it called. The same way you can get called into an amazing situation and feel the good feelings that come with that. In the same way that you're feeling the bad feelings that come with when you get triggered. Those examples I mentioned. So you have to pre-program your body to have those glimmer moments on recall, which means you're going to have to do some intentional effort of not only just saying that sentence over and over again and looking at it all the time, because then it just becomes like paint on the wall. You just forget about it. You don't see it. It's there. What's it doing? I mean, man, I was so excited when we first painted these walls, this blue. I was jubilant. And that's an outcome. And so it's a feeling. It's a feeling of like richness or luxury. And I was over it soon enough. I mean, I do still love it. It just doesn't bring me the same kind of excitement. So that's why you have to wire in whatever is important to you differently. So you need to wire in your new mantras, your new language with love, with assertiveness, with confidence, right? You want to come from a place of centeredness when you're using these new phrases. Because that's who you want to be. So you want to practice the way you want to play. You want to practice the way you want to play. And you want to play the best version of yourself. The US last night, they lost 4-1. They weren't playing as the best versions of themselves last night. They're still incredible players. But man, don't they wish that they had played an extra 10 minutes more of the best version of themselves. I mean, that's what it's down to. It's how I see it. I want to be the best version of myself for as many moments more than I can today. I want to get better little by little, day after day. 1% better, inch by inch. This is how I operate now. And I'm thinking about how can I be the best version of myself. Sorry, I just lost my train of thoughts. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so you're with me live. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so you need to wire in the experience, the mind-body connection. And when you say, okay, this is not an emergency, and really see it and feel it. I can feel it in my arms right here. It's almost this heaviness. Oh, it feels good. I'm thinking about this is not an emergency. I'm thinking about smiles and safety and warmth. I see a picnic bench, right? This is not an emergency. This is life. I am safe, right? My feet are on the floor. I am safe. That was a really nice experience I just had. And I just wired that language to that experience. The feeling in my body is wired to that language of I am safe. This is not an emergency. So when I have practiced that enough times, and you can use any multiple of 10 here, 100, 1,000, 10,000, right? The 10,000 rule. You could say it's minutes. You could say it's hours. You could say it's weeks, days, months, reps. Just know that there is some number that you need to get to where it's starting to feel more comfortable. Just know that there's some progression. It's a lot. And once you do that, once you practice it enough times, you are going to be able to recall that more quickly under pressure. Because when you're under pressure or when there's fear or there's threat, there's restrictions, I believe, again, my understanding, there's restrictions to your short-term memory. And so if you're looking for something that you've only started studying or you've only started practicing or you're only starting to see in your world, you're really that's unimportant to you when you're under threat. You're just using what's in the tank back here. You're bringing all of that. So that's why I say often that your most practiced way of communicating shows under pressure. And you have to think about how you're communicating all the time with your children, with your teammates, with people you don't really respect, and the people you respect. So once you do that, once you practice it enough times and you recall it, then those situations where you want to be a conscious leader, you want to be a great spouse, you want to be a a loving parent, but you're overtaken by your trigger, by your anger, by your fear, and you're acting impulsively and yelling at your children again, or coming in with control and telling them, that's not the way you say that, or I'm just too busy right now. All the things that you know you don't want to say or do, you're doing. Bringing in this new wiring in these moments is very helpful. It will allow you to take that precious pause, the pause that Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and the best-selling author of Man's Search for Meaning, and he's also a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He talks about the pause, that when you can take a pause between your reaction and the stimulus that you see in this world, the stimulus that is triggering you, you can take a pause between that and your reaction. That's where all of our power and our freedom lies, in that pause and the space you create between your reaction and the stimulus. That's man's search for meaning, is how do you get to that pause? You wire for it. It's not an accident. Some people may have grown up in homes where they had mantras like this all the time and their parents knew how to bring it out because their parents before had done it, or maybe they were, revolutionists like me and so many others who are learning a new way and taking what was great from when they were parented and then leaving behind what was not so great and putting new there. That's what this is all for. That's it. This is no innate genius. This is not innate talents. These are skills, and they can be mastered and perfected the same way that Michael Phelps has mastered and perfected the skill of swimming. Okay, so that's part one of rewiring. There's many more parts to this, I'm realizing. Thanks for listening. I'd love to know what you think of this topic and how I can tighten up my language and also have a cadence that is more warm and welcoming and inviting. That's at least what I see as some of my most immediate skill gaps. Okay. Bye, guys. I love you all.